What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. It's your girl, Shalane Nicole, with Drinks After Work. What's going on? How's everybody? Hope everybody had a great Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I had a really nice weekend. My birthday was Thursday. Yes, happy birthday to me. I turned 33, so it was a good birthday. I didn't do much of anything. I literally went to the spa. I enjoyed myself. My mom said that she came with me. She was like, you're not going to celebrate your birthday by yourself. But I really just wanted to do something calm this year. I didn't really want to do anything too crazy, too lavish. I didn't want to party. I didn't want to do anything that I normally have done in the past. So I just was like, something calm, regular. Came back home, watched some movies, and then I literally went to sleep. But I enjoyed it. Like, it was a very reflective birthday, a very reflective year, and I made a lot of promises to God that, what I'm going to change and what I'm going to do this year. I call it, this is the Jesus year, so moving forward from this year on, just changing up the ways I do things, and really just because, you kind of get tired of doing the same things over and over again. So you kind of have to come to your senses and be like, you know what? If I want to see anything change, I kind of have to do it myself. It's not going to fall in my lap. So, and I know for a lot of people, it's like, well, duh, you should know that by now. But everybody learns and does things on their own terms. And it takes trial after trial for people to understand it and actually see it. And sometimes it takes God shaking up the table in order for you to wake up and see what it is that you're supposed to do. But nonetheless, I did enjoy my weekend. It was good. And I enjoyed my birthday. So thank you to everybody who said happy birthday to me, who gave me a shout out on Instagram. And yeah, I appreciate it. I felt the love. It was great to see how loved I am by my true friends, the people that I always talk to, the people that know me so well, that have stuck by me for 10 plus years. Some who I've even, met just 3 years ago, and then, our relationship has grown just the same. So I loved it, and I thank you guys for wishing me a happy birthday. So the topic tonight is toxic behaviors. Yes, we all have our toxic behaviors that we are not proud of. So I went on live on Friday. I did one on YouTube, and I went on live on the Drinks After Work podcast on IG. And only a few people signed on, which again is fine. I'm just starting out, so I'm not tripping. But then I switched over to my personal Instagram, and I'm debating if I want to make it public again. I kind of like it being private. Not everybody can see what I post, but then I also know that, having this platform, you kind of have to let everybody kind of know a little bit about you or whatever you choose to post. So I'm thinking about making it public again. But nonetheless, I went on live, and I had asked the same question, toxic behavior, and obviously I had more encounters with people. And even then, when I went to work yesterday, when I went to work yesterday, I had some conversations. Even today, I had conversations with people about their toxic behaviors and what is it that they consider toxic in both their single and in their, when they're single and then when they're in a relationship. Because I guess you can kind of do both depending on what it is, I guess. But some people would say they do things differently in their single era in their life compared to in relationships. And things that they're not like, proud of, that they want to work on. I'm hoping at this age, at this big age, you guys should be wanting to work on your toxic behaviors, because we all have them. I've had them and I still have them. So it's not anything that is not workable. It's not anything that cannot change. But I think that addressing your toxic behaviors is like the first thing that you have to do, right? So I had asked guys and I had asked girls. Some guys have said that their toxic behaviors, and I guess this is a mix. So it's a mix of single and in a relationship. Some guys have said needing alone time for no reason, but just to be alone, is a toxic behavior that they have in a relationship and while being single. And honestly, I don't understand this, because honestly, it's a thing that I'm noticing now with a lot of guys, with my friends who, who've been dating guys and have told me the same exact thing, that this is something that they've encountered. Guys I've met who have told me the same thing. And when I say recently, I mean like just within this last year, like from June to June, that I've noticed a lot of guys have said things like this. Like they are, don't be upset if they have their alone time. And I'm just like, what do you mean if you have your alone time? Like a guy really told me that one day. Like he was just like, if ever I were to go ghost, just don't be upset. I said, you think that's okay? And he responded like literally like, yes. Like it's okay. And I'm like, in what world is that all right? Like in what world do you men, and not all you men, but the men who think this way, obviously, where do you think that makes sense? How do you expect somebody to take you serious if you're just gonna go ghost on them, or if you're just not gonna say nothing to them just because you need, I don't know, if you need alone time, if you need like to de-stress, declutter your brain, I don't know what it is, but just going without speaking to anybody is the ultimate disrespect. And it's crazy how the ones who say that they don't like being disrespected the most are the ones that will do the disrespect. It's like clearly nobody, no human ever wants to feel that way, but it's like, why is that now a thing for men nowadays in this dating world that we're in? Why is that a thing that men have now said this? Like needing time to themselves. If you need time to yourself, then just stay single. Stay single, speak to God, read the Bible, whatever it is that you need to do to give yourself the alone time that you need, do that. But don't sit here and have a relationship or try to build something with someone and then come at them talking about, well, I'm going to need my time away from you. As if like I'm on a timeout because you need to, settle whatever is going on inside of that brain of yours. I don't understand it, but that was one thing that a few men have said that that's a toxic trait of theirs. And it's great that they acknowledge that that's very toxic, because it is. That is a big toxic trait. So the other thing that they said was taking all I'm reading what I wrote because I always write down what I'm going to say. So this guy I work with said that his toxic trait when he was single was that he would take all of his dates on the same first date. Like, I'm not going to say where he would take them because I don't want anybody. Like, literally, if he's dating girl A, B, and C, he's taking girl A, B, and C to the amusement park, like to Six Flags or something, and that's their first date. And each one of them he goes to Six Flags like 3 different times. Like, I'm like, you're not for real. He's like, yeah, because I get to talk to them. I get to see, how they really are. I don't have to spend that much money. And it wasn't like Six Flags was That's not what he was talking about. He was actually talking about a fucking store that he takes them to. I was in shocked when he said this. Like, you're not for real. He's like, nah, like, I'm dead ass. Like, going on the same first date with like 3 to 5 different girls is insane. Because then it's like, I mean, I get it, because you don't want to necessarily spend so much money on the first date. Like, I don't know. See, now we're getting into something completely different. Because when I say, like, not to spend so much money on first dates, I'm speaking for myself here. I think the first date should be impressive. And when I say impressive, I mean, that does not necessarily mean it has to cost a lot of money. It does not. I feel like today, especially with society, especially with dating today, that a lot of females, not a lot, well, okay, maybe a lot. Well, hell, I don't know. But I feel like some females, because they take social media a little bit too fucking serious. And social media, and I don't know how many times we have to say this, but social media is just a platform that what people choose to show you is what they post online. I feel like a lot of people have taken what they see these celebrities and the people who are more wealthier, the people who are rich, they take that lifestyle and what they see them doing, and they feel like in their current lifestyle that they can do the same thing, or that the men will do the same thing. I'm not saying for a man to take you on a cheap date. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying for him to take you to Burger King. I'm not saying for him to take you to Wendy's. I'm not saying for him to take you to Chick-fil-A. No. But I'm saying that, like, the first date doesn't have to be a $500 bill first date. It does not have to be that. Don't get me wrong. One of the dates can be a $500 date. Listen, you want to wine and dine me and pick me up in a nice car, or, you know, whatever. You want to pick me up in a limo and we go to, I'm going to take it. I am going to take it. That could be a nice, you know, different type of date that we do, that you want to impress me a little bit more. Fine. But I don't feel like that every situation or that the first date necessarily has to be super expensive. Because when you think about it, how do you know this person is just like somebody you really even want to take any further than this first date? But again, don't sit here, men. Don't sit here and say that I said it, that y'all okay with taking women on a cheap date. I didn't say that. But you can at least do something that is romantic or something that's thoughtful. Because clearly the first date, you're going to obviously know a little bit about this person and what they've told you that they like and the things that they're looking for and yada, 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 yada. So if all of that if you take some of the things that she's saying and you put it into the first date, boom. No problem. My first date, the crazy thing is I remember like a lot of my first dates, which is crazy because it was the first, I mean, not crazy because that's the first impression that I got from them. So one first date was he picked me up, he had flowers in the seat, and we went to sushi, and it was cool. We talked a lot. It was a quiet day. I think we went during the week, and we spoke and we talked, and after that I think we got ice cream or something like that, and then boom, dropped me home. And then from there we kept talking, and then yes, we went on the expensive dates. I've gone on expensive dates as the first date, and normally 9 out of 10 times those first dates that are that expensive, ladies who have never been on those very expensive dates before, they want some ass right after. I'm just going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it as real as I possibly can with you. They want some ass right after. This guy he picked me up, nice car and everything, yada, 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 cute, whatever. He wanted some ass right after he took me to a steakhouse. Like, he really thought that he was going to get some right after taking me to a steakhouse that I didn't ask to go to. He obviously, put it together. And I was looking, I don't want to say I was looking basic. I wasn't looking basic, but I wasn't looking like, I didn't have a dress on. I didn't have heels on. I literally had some jeans on with I think I had some slides on, a shirt, and just something regular, because he didn't, I asked him, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to dress up? He was like, no, you can come just casual, just cool. It's relaxed. Well, shit, I didn't know how relaxed to be, so I threw on something cute. But those expensive first dates, they want ass first. They want ass not first. They want ass right after. So be careful about what it is you ask for, because sometimes that $500 bill that they get at the end of the night, it better come with some tax and some dessert. Some of them want that. And then I know a lot of women who have said that, like, why can't we just be wined and dined and not have to give ass? It's rare when that happens. Like, it's very rare. I don't think I know anybody who has done a very expensive date and didn't have to give up ass. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but a lot of the times when those type of men want that, or that's the first thing that they do, that's the next thing that they expect from you. And it's so shallow of them, because, oh, I spent this much money, so you should give me some at the end of the day. But it has happened to me, and I've had to quickly pull over. Let me go take an Uber, because you out of your mind. But yeah, taking someone on, taking all three girls on the same first date is crazy. But again, I kind of get it. The other thing the guy said was falling asleep without texting his shorty, leaving her to overthink. That was a toxic trait that one of the guys that I had asked had said on, I think it was on the live, that he had said that. And you know us women, we overthink. We can't help it. I mean, we can to an extent, but we really can't help it. Like, why aren't you answering the phone? What are you doing? And granted, you could be sleeping, but it's like, we know y'all. We know if this is a man that we've been talking to for a long time, we kind of know your patterns in a way. We kind of know what you're doing. And there's nothing wrong with knowing your patterns. That's just you knowing that person. But if out of nowhere I call you and it's just like, we haven't spoken all day, and then out of nowhere you just don't answer the phone, and I keep calling you. Come on now. Be for real. But he said falling asleep without texting is a toxic trait. I don't know if I would call that toxic, though. Now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know if I would call that toxic. I would just think that is just, I don't know. People fall asleep. Shit, I fall asleep sometimes just watching a movie in my house. So it happens. I don't know. I don't know if I would say that that's toxic, but I mean, it depends on who you're dating. So this next one, I feel like works good for both guys and girls. Dating the same type of girl or guy, but wanting different results. You know how toxic that is, and all of us fucking do it. Like, when I read the guy say, because he did it on the live, when I read that statement, I was like, ooh, you ain't gotta speak to me like that. Like, damn. Like, how many of you can honestly assess, like, really sit back and think of, like, I'll say the last 3 boyfriends or girlfriends that y'all had. And if you really, like, just look at them, like, in your mind, or if you have them on Instagram still, or, whatever. I don't have any of my exes on Instagram. I'm sorry, I don't. But if you look at the guys or the girls who you used to date, your ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends, and you just put them in, like, a lineup, a lot of them are probably the same height, same complexion, sometimes, maybe not. They all kind of have the same type of background, almost. Like, maybe not in their job description, but just, like, how they grew up and what they normally do, and they have one thing in common. Like, for me, all of the guys who I have dated and who I have been in a relationship with play basketball. At this point, give me an NBA player, because what is going on here? Like, I kid you not, every last one of them played ball, whether it was like in college, whether it was overseas. It was just like every last one of them just played ball, summer league, whatever. So I was just like, okay, that's one trait that all of them have. And then the other trait that I noticed too was that a lot of them have mommy issues. And like I really sat back when I heard, like when I read that comment, and like once I got off, I was just like, damn, they do. Like they have mommy issues. Like y'all like to sit here and say, not all y'all, but a lot of y'all men like to sit here and say, oh, girls got daddy issues, girls got father issues. Y'all got mommy issues. Y'all want to talk? You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. Y'all got mommy issues. Y'all mad at your mom for either not being there or trying to be your mother and father. You're mad at your mom about something. So you have just as much reason to go to therapy, just as much as women who have daddy issues need to go to therapy, just the same. So, but I noticed that a lot of them have mommy issues, where not to the point where they disrespect their mothers. You know, their moms are still around, they still talk to them, they still love them, but there was something deep down in however they were raised that has caused them to act the way that they act now with females, that they will just sit here and say like, no, that got nothing to do with it. No, but it does. Because it's just like when girls have daddy issues, they find their father in other men, or they find that love that a father never gave them in the men that they choose to date. So it's kind of the same thing, roles reversed, with men trying to find women or using women for other things. That's just how I see it. Again, y'all know I'm not a professional. This is just what I always bring my reality of my friends, and reality of people who have come to me and asked me my opinions, and I put it all together and I just give out my advice that makes sense in my head. But if y'all really think about it, like I really want y'all to do that. Like after you listen to this episode, I really want you guys to think about, are you possibly just choosing the same type of person and expecting something completely different? And I guarantee you, you'll probably just be like, you know what? God, I'm going to hand this over to you too, because clearly I'm doing the wrong thing. I told myself that, like, you know what, God, take this over too. He who finds a good wife finds a great thing. So I'm going to just let my husband find me, because baby, I'm not picking the right ones at all. Okay, we're still on the guys, but the last thing with the guys was, a coworker of mine said he goes through phones now, because I know y'all some of y'all done said, oh shit, oh yeah, that's one of them. Okay, I guess that's a toxic trait of mine too, that I used to do, was go through phones. But let me plead my case. I went through phones, and yes, I know, Mom, I know you told me this all the time. My friends have told me this all the time. If you go looking for something, you're going to find something. Yes, I know. But every time that I had done it, I was hoping that I wasn't going to find anything, because I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe I'm overthinking. That was always my thought process when going through my ex's phone. But before I did it, I would tell myself constantly, and I feel like a lot of women do this, and probably a lot of men too, who have gone through phones. Tell yourself like, nah, you're tripping. Like that's not happening. Like, oh, it's nothing. You're just overthinking. Like I said, right? And I gave it the benefit of the doubt, and I didn't think too much of it, and I did the whole, rational side. At some point, that rationality just, it dies out. It fades. It fades out. It just fades like a feeling. Like, when we gotta get our feelings, it just fades out. Like, gentlemen, when you're, never mind. Anyway, never mind. But I'm gonna keep it cute. After a while, it just starts to fade out. So your intuition starts to creep in. Like, something's not right. He's not telling you something. There's something that she's hiding. I know it. I feel it. I see it. The patterns are a little different. You go through the phone. And obviously, what I will say this though, and I mentioned this to him too. I said, whenever you go through phones, you also have to have a exit strategy, or you have to know what you're going to do after you go through that phone. Because if you find something, you got to be prepared to do one of two things. Either you're going to confront it either way. But are you going to confront it and stay, or are you going to confront it and are you going to leave? And if you're going to stay, you're going to have to do a lot of work to stay with someone if after you've seen things that you were hoping that you wasn't going to see, you end up, finding out through the phone. And I tried to do that. I tried to, stick around. I tried to, say like, hey, I can forgive you because, I this was me starting my whole like spiritual walk and knowing that, I'm asking God to forgive me for the things I've done in my past. So I can only, do the same thing for you and forgive you and, just trying my hardest just to let it go. But no, I knew like from the beginning that cheating was a deal breaker for me, but I tried this time to like, give a second chance and to see what could, if I could continue a relationship with a cheater. That quickly turned into a hell no, because I couldn't let it go. So once I knew that that's something that I couldn't do, my strategy now was to, how am I going to end this? Because before it was, if I find out that you're cheating, we're done. And that's how I am. Like, now after dealing or thinking that I couldn't deal with being with someone who cheated and just forgiving them and letting it go. No, I went right back to my old way, once I find out that you're cheating, it's clipped. You got to go. Because there's no reason why. I don't condone cheating. I personally don't. I don't see the purpose of it. I don't see the reason behind it. If you're unhappy, go to the gym, read a book, pray, meditate. I don't care. But there's no reason why you need to have community dick because you're unhappy. And there's no reason why you need to bust it open for every man out here just because you're unhappy in your relationship. Leave. Just leave. Or go seek counseling. Go find someone to mediate between the both of you to figure out what the problem is before going into the bedroom with someone else. Because 9 out of 10 times you're going to feel guilty. And 10 out of 10 times your partner's going to find out. So what's the point? But going through phones, I feel like it's good for both ends, for both male and female. And again, you need to know the strategy of what you're going to do. You need to have a game plan, because if once you find what you find and you don't like it, what you going to do? You gotta know that. All right, now for my ladies. So the girlies, they said calling down his phone was a toxic trait. And that, I will say, is one of my toxic traits that I honestly need to like really stop doing. Like, I need to stop doing that. And I can acknowledge it. I can take responsibility for it. I am a work in progress. I can admit it. But it's only when and I'm not saying this as an excuse, but this is only when I only call down the phone when I know that you're awake and I know that you're near your phone. Because there's no way you can tell me that I post something on Instagram or I post something on TikTok, Facebook, wherever, and you just so happen to see my story. You just so happen to like my picture, whether it's by accident or not. And then you see me calling you and then you don't answer. Oh, so you're just blatantly ignoring me. Okay. Cool. Watch this. Ring. Ring. Like, why aren't you answering the phone? I'm going to text you. What's going on? Why are you not answering? But now, if you're the type of person who's just running down his phone for no reason, and he's at work, or he told you he's going to be in the gym, if he communicated and told you what was going on and what he was doing, and you're still running down his phone and there's no like legit emergency, then I feel like that's a problem. I'm not saying that what I did wasn't a problem. I'm not saying what I did was an issue. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, girl, if he told you that he's doing something, why are you calling down his phone? I feel like it's more disrespectful if you didn't tell me anything and I'm left to just think my own thoughts just because you're choosing not to tell me what's going on with you. I feel like that's disrespectful. And I feel like that deserves me calling your phone and me texting you frequently and asking you what's going on with you. But again, I'm not saying that it's okay, if that makes sense. It's something that I feel like we all have to work on that. I mean, at least the girls who agree with it, at least. We have to work on it. We're working on it. The next one that someone said was being on the phone on the first date. I don't think I was ever on my phone on a first date. Okay, no, I was. I take it back. I was. My father had called me and I was on a first date. And they were asking me a question about, like, I think a car that him and my mother were getting. And I didn't want to answer it, but at the same time, I'm just like, it's my parents. What's going on? What are they calling me for? So we were on the phone for maybe like 5 to 10 minutes. And he felt away. He was like, I was about to get up out and walk out of here. I said, no, you wasn't. He was like, yeah, because why you answer the phone? We on a date. I said, it's my father. I don't know about y'all. My father calls me, I'm picking up the phone. My mother calls me, I'm picking up the phone. My brother calls me, I'm picking up the phone. I don't care what I'm doing. What is, yes. My loyalty before anything runs with my family. So if they call me and I have the ability to pick up the phone, like I'm not doing anything that's like requiring my 110% attention at the moment, I'm picking up the phone. We were eating and I guess we were having like some type of conversation. We were talking about something. But I picked it up and I listened to what he was saying for a little bit. And then I said, okay, well, I'm going to call you right back, Dad. I'm outside. He was like, oh, okay, no problem. Just wanted to vent a little bit. I said, okay, no problem. And it was literally like 5 to 10 minutes. And he wasn't mad. I won't say that the guy wasn't mad that I did it. But, he did like bring it up, a few months later, like, why was you on the phone? Or I didn't like the fact that you was on the phone when we went on our first date. I was like, boy, please. It was for 5 to 10 minutes. It wasn't like I was on the phone for an hour. But now being on the phone for more than 10 minutes and you on the first date, or even when you just like how do y'all date now? Like this new generation, I want to ask them, because they always in their phone. They always on TikTok. They always on Instagram. They always on whatever the hell else they be on. How do y'all first dates go now? Because I know y'all be on y'all phone. Like y'all on y'all phone in the club. Like when I tell you going to the club is so boring now, that's why I don't go. That's why if you want to catch me, you can catch me in a nice little lounge. But other than that, you ain't about to catch me in no club. At least not up here. At least not here. Like you'll catch me if I'm going on vacation somewhere, then yeah, I'll go to like, whatever hot spot is out there. Like maybe one, if I'm outside for like, if I'm out, in the country or on vacation for like 4 or 5 days, you'll catch me out in, 1 or 2 spots. But it's like, I feel like it's the same all around. Like no matter what city, no matter what, I want to say what country. I would say no matter what city. I feel like everybody's just on their phone now. And it's cute to take a little selfie here and there, take a little video, boom, boom, boom. But then it's like, okay, what about the party? What about playing music? What about like dancing? Like y'all don't bust a sweat. We used to come back sweating from the club. Like we need to, once when we get in the house, gotta go take a shower real quick and then lay down. That's how hot we were. Like that's how much fun we was having. Now I feel like it's the same thing with the first dates. It's like it's so boring, it's so dry. Like you might as well text each other while y'all across from the table from each other. It's so weird. I think that's definitely toxic though, because there's no way you going on the first date with me and you on your phone the whole time. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go. If the entire time you are on your phone and we're on the first date, you paying for the check, I'm gonna get my Uber. I'll see you whenever I see you. Bye. So another lady said that wanting to actually be alone and not date anyone is her toxic trait, her toxic behavior. And I feel like that's so sad, but yet it's so true for most of us who are in this dating world right now. And I mean this for both men and women, because it's like, it's almost safer just to be alone. That's so like fucked up to say, but it's so true. Like, it's just safer to be to yourself and keep your heart inside instead of showing it and wearing it on your sleeve, because you don't know people's true intentions. Even when people tell you their true intentions, you don't know if it's bullshit or if it's really what they want until like you're like knee high into it. Like 3 months in, you know, like, okay, this is someone who you want to like consider being with. And a lot of men have said, like, men, you guys know from the jump, from the first date, from like the beginning if this is somebody who you want to be with. And I guess for some men, yes, it's true. For others, I think it just takes them a while. I feel like, they're blind, they wear glasses, they got to figure it out. They got to correct their lenses a little bit, and I think it's the same for us women, but it's so sad that we've gotten to this point now where it's like you don't want to, because you don't want to deal with the possibility of somebody leaving you. You don't want to deal with the possibility of someone just using you for your money, using you for your looks, using you for what you have, that you just say, you know what, I'm going to just stay to myself, and it's just safer this way, and I can focus on me and not focus on a relationship. And while that's good and all to focus on you, you don't, I know for a fact, and maybe this is the Cancerian in me, the love sign within me, that we all don't want to be alone. Everybody wants to be with somebody. Everybody wants to give love or receive love back from somebody else. But we just have a hard time. We have a hard time healing from trauma that we have in our past. All of us have it. I don't care how many episodes I say that in. I will forever say that. We all have trauma that we just don't want to deal with. And we don't want to deal with it because it brings up vulnerability. It opens up the door for vulnerability, and then it opens up the door for you to really have to dig in deep and really speak to yourself about what it is that you're going through. And a lot of people don't want to do that. And I feel like that has caused so many people just to want to be by themselves and not even experience being in a new relationship, because it's like, for what? For my heart to just get ran over? For me personally, yes, I'm single. I've been single for, how long I've been single? I want to say a year now. 2 years. A year. It's been a year and I want to say a year and 5 months that I've been single. And yes, I dated, and I put my foot down on a lot of things. I changed up how I was going into this new dating scene of my life, and as a grown woman, how I was going to go about dating men. But no matter how hurt I've been, no matter how fucked up I have been in any situation, no matter how badly these men have lied to me, have gaslit me, have breadcrumbed me, no matter how much of that I've received that I didn't deserve, because I knew I didn't deserve it. I know who I am. I know my worth, and I know what I'm not settling for. I will never sit here and say that I want to be alone forever, because I don't. Like, I want to get married. I want to have children. I want to give the love to my husband who deserves it. And sometimes I feel like I had to go through these rough relationships because, like, so I was reading, I don't remember the actual chapter in the Bible that I was reading, but I was reading, I think maybe it had something to do with Ruth, or maybe it had something to do with Esther. I want to say it probably has something to do with Esther, but where God had basically placed her in this world for her to show love to everyone and to give. I think it was Ruth. I don't know. I'm still reading. I'm still learning. But basically, like, she had an assignment, And then later on, her husband was, God gave her husband and her family and everything. And I feel like with me, it's kind of the same. I had to show my exes what this type of love was, because I've heard it from them myself. Like, I can't, like, one of my exes told me one time, and I put this on my soul, right? He has said that I can't find nobody like you. Like, no one matches up to you. And mind you, we've been broken up for like years. But he was like, nobody matches up to you. The love you give, the nurturing you give, the care that you give, how you're my best. You could be my best friend and you can also be my lover. You don't get that in a lot of women. You get one or the other. And it's like they don't know how to just be calm, cool, and collected without doing the extra shit. And I don't know what that meant, but that's basically what he said. And I knew that. I mean, I knew that there were things that I had to fix myself, and like I said, toxic behaviors that I had to change. But if all of them can sit here and say that same thing to me in their own little ways, it's like I know that my husband, whenever he comes to me, whenever God grants me him the right time, that he's gonna get all of it. With no problem. It's gonna be a healed person. It's gonna be a person who's let go of her past completely, and I don't mind giving it to the person who I'm supposed to give it to. And I was supposed to show love to all of these guys in that way, so that they know that it's out here, that it exists. And it kind of was hard for me to accept that when I told somebody that. They was like, "Ooh, that's deep for you to really like think of it that way." I said, yeah, because I could think of it in a negative way. And I used to think of it in a negative way, like, man, fuck these men and da-da-da-da. I used to think all of that. And I still have my moments. But at the same time, it's just like, no. Maybe I had to show them something that they didn't have. And then when I do finally get the person who can give it right back to me, I'll be good. But do I want to be alone forever? No. And I don't think anybody else wants to be alone forever either. So a bunch of other ones that I'm not going to, do too much talking into. But basically a lot of people said like being too available, which is also another toxic trait, is like you have your availability open for every single time. Like if this man calls you, what are you doing? Nothing. Do you want to go out? Yes. And like every time that he asks you what you're doing and you're doing nothing, sometimes even if you have to lie a little bit, even though you should not be lying, but sometimes, it's cute to say, no, I'm a little busy. Like just to make it seem like you have a schedule, like you have something that you're doing, even if you're doing nothing but sitting down, eating potato chips and watching a fucking movie. It doesn't matter. Being too available. And me and my friend Erica was having this conversation before, that we as women need to stop trying to be so available. Even because we want to be in a relationship, we have to stop being so available. And I 110% agree with that. But somebody else said slamming the car door is a toxic trait. Baby, don't slam my car door. I'm gonna roll down that window. Excuse me. Come back. Open the door. What did you just do? Okay, right. Gently. Thank you. You don't pay this car note. Arguing, thinking that's communicating. That was something that I did in my first relationship. And and he told me so nicely. He was just like, why do you argue so much? I'm like, I'm not arguing. In my head, I thought arguing was communicating, but that's because that's what I grew up seeing. Like, that's what my parents did. They argued. But my mom was like, that's just us talking. We're having a conversation. And then I had to realize, and I guess they eventually realized that was something that they had to stop doing, because they eventually stopped doing it. But I had to then also realize that that's not communicating. That's arguing. Communicating is us just literally having conversations just like this, talking to each other in this type of tone, and just speaking about whatever it is we need to speak about, compared to really yelling and going at each other's necks. So that's definitely a toxic behavior. Some other ones is manipulating, controlling your partner, gaslighting, financial irresponsibility, which a lot of us have, and all of us have done it. I have done it myself. Bought things that you shouldn't be buying, swiping the card like we ain't got no freaking sense, and just doing the most financially and not being responsible like we should be, and always having to start over. I've done it, you've done it, don't lie to me. Belittling your partner in public. Now see that, belittling me in public, you gonna go back home single. Don't do that. I hate seeing people do that. Like, even at work, like, you can sometimes see the men belittling. I've seen women do it too. I'm not gonna hold you. I've seen women belittle their men too. But the men belittling their women in public and calling them dumb and calling them stupid and saying this and that. It's just like, bro, what's up with you? Like, you're not for real. Like, why would you even do that? Like, no matter, even if she did something to piss you off, even if she did something that irritated you, you know how easy it is to just be like, oh, come here, let me talk to you real quick. And like have a really close conversation and just like y'all really like ear to ear to each other. Like, listen, let me tell you something. Come here. Why would you do that? That makes sense to you? Like, just talking to them softly, but being assertive. But belittling your partner in public? Nah. Like I said, you're going back home single, because you're not about to do that to me and make me the butt of your jokes. My ex did that before too. He did that one time. No, he did it more than one time. Yeah, he did it more than one time. He had done it like, he did it twice. And I definitely told him, like, yo, stop doing that. Like, the first time he did it, I addressed it, and the second time, I think the second time I went off, and he never did it again. But that's neither here nor there. Don't belittle your partner in public. And then somebody said, hoping that the other person knows how you're feeling. Oh, I guess like playing charades. So like, you know, if you're upset or something and they're asking you like, what's wrong? Nothing. No, but I know there's something wrong with you. So what's going on? Nothing. Okay. And then the whole day goes by and then they don't say nothing to you. And then once you're out of your funk, well, you didn't even ask me if I was okay. And what you mean? Yes, I did. I asked you, was you okay? I said, asked you, what's wrong with you? You said, I'm fine. So I'm confused. Playing charades in a relationship, go crazy. There's no reason why I'm playing this game with you. If there's something going on, whether it be something that I did or whether it be something that has happened at work, in your family, whatever it is, there's no reason why I'm having to play a guessing game to figure out what's bothering you. If you're going to tell me, tell me. If not, I guess you'll speak to me when you're ready to tell me what's going on, because I'm not going to keep asking you like, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? You're mad. What's wrong? What's going on? And you're not telling me. Like, come on now. Stop it. And not expressing themselves clearly. So that was the last one, with not expressing yourself clearly is also a toxic trait, which it is, because I guess it goes back to the same thing of playing charades, like a guessing game to figure out what it is going on with your partner. And that's not fair to them, because a lot of the times people will also feel like, well, is it something that I did? Did I do something wrong? Like, what are you mad at? You know, it makes their head start to spin, and it's not, like I said, it's not fair. So I can definitely see how those are really bad toxic traits. But nonetheless, guys, thank you guys for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Big announcement coming up soon. Finally, I am so happy. I'm so happy. Like, thank you, God. Thank you. Glory to God, because I have been trying to get this daggone podcast up on one of the biggest platforms forever. And it will soon be on Apple Podcasts. It will finally be on iTunes. It will be on the Apple Podcast, so you guys can stream it where millions of people have been streaming their podcasts. That's where everybody listens to them, majority of them. And they'll still be on SoundCloud. It'll still be on Spotify. And it'll be on Amazon Music as well. So you can listen to it on all these platforms: Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spotify. But now it will be on Apple iTunes shortly. And I will obviously announce it. So stay tuned. I will let you guys know when it's up there, putting in the final touches and work and everything like that. So I'm so excited for that. Also, I'm going to be doing an in-person, I know I've been saying that. I've been wanting to do the in-person podcast episodes. And why do I say podcast episodes? I wanted to do the in-person episodes. And I finally found a place that was actually decent enough. Because when you're first starting out with your podcast, it's like, you got to use your own money. You can't, it's a lot. So I found a place that was decent, that was actually really nice, and I'm going to use them for the in-person ones. So if you guys want to be on any upcoming episodes, stay tuned. Look out on the Drinks After Work podcast. I always I haven't done it lately, which I'm going to do it. I did it yesterday. I'm going to do it again today for the future topics of the in-person ones, to see which ones we're going to talk about that day. And obviously send out the email and the text message and everything to let you guys know what it is you need to look forward to for the in-person episodes that I want to do, because I definitely want to get into that and not just doing everything just behind the mic. I want to do it in front of the camera too. So yes, guys, I thank you guys for listening. I thank you for taking this journey with me. I hope you guys had an amazing Monday. Can't believe it's July already. It is ridiculous the way this year is flying by. Ridiculous. But I love you guys for listening. Don't bring in yesterday's problems don't bring in today's problems into tomorrow. Leave everything behind today. And I love you guys again for watching and listening. Because I do, I put up some videos. But I love you guys. Thank you. Have a good night. Later.